Alright, what's up everybody? It's your guy, your boy, your man, your dude, your homie, your unwashed masses looking for retribution. I swear to God, this is my third take doing that. Every time I've said it, it sounded even stupider. Hey everybody, I took a game dev break for like 2 months, and now everything has apparently gone to shit. So I'm gonna make another video basically detailing, not really, but like, you know, I took about a 2 month break from game dev videos, and now I'm going to show you guys something that I've been working on for about the last month. It's prototype though, so there's not really any art for it. That's kind of why I didn't really share it with anyone. It's one of those things where they say art first, marketing or whatever. And so there's no art for it. It just kind of, it just kind of exists out in the ether. I might decide to, I don't know. I'm not an arty person, but who knows? I might decide to make art for it myself. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy Project Carrottop's postmortem. I'm gonna try to find another word that's not postmortem, because do not look at the postmortem tag. It will literally scar you for life. But yeah, no. Anyway, on to the project. Let's go. Woo. So one thing you'll notice in this gameplay is that we went for another 2.5D style game again. First off, our previous, game jam, we decided to test our skills and expand our time from a week to a month, thinking that it was going to make an amazing game. And of course, as you can kind of tell, the current build would kind of definitely be coming along pretty well if it was a long-term project. However, constantly changing schedules, unforeseen timing conflicts, occasional procrastination, and meetings that didn't always come to defined conclusions were probably some of our biggest roadblocks, actually. So what went well, what went really well is that we came up with some really banging ideas. And honestly, I feel like a 2.5 adventure dating sim where you're a mimic and potential mates are plants in a world full of like fae, I think that's a really good idea, and honestly I feel like it's an idea that we should probably keep going with at some other point. On another note, something that I'm kind of proud of for this game is actually the way I handle level transition, the flow of it, that is. Someone in our meeting pitched an interesting idea about falling into a pit and ending up in a dungeon. I think it was a reference to a different game, I can't remember. Now for me, falling in a pit seems a little too random, right? I don't want just the player run like kind of walk around and all of a sudden they're in a dungeon that they can't leave from. So all I really did was use our shovel object that we already had planned as one of our objects in the game, and just allow the user to dig into the dungeon. Although I'm currently using the terrain tool, which can be kind of expensive, and we have a couple of different terrains, I think it worked out really well, and it's incredibly fast. Now, one of the 3 terrains we have at the moment would be the overworld, the dungeon rooms, and the small Fey town. Now, normally, there are 2 different ways to teleport player, in a region. You either set up and load a new scene, which can be it's not bad, but it's just a little bit more work. Or, we simply move the player from one part of the scene to the next part of the scene. I decided to do the latter since the game likely wouldn't be very big anyway. So what I ended up doing is that I teleported. One more time. What I ended up learning is that teleportation and the cinema machine don't really mix too well, and so I had to make sure that I had adaptive force in the project settings disabled in order to make sure that I can actually teleport the player around using the position. And then I had to make sure that, we had a couple different scripts and objects. We've had a dungeon teleporter script, a standard door script, a door to the Fate Town script, and a dungeon prize. All using different aspects of different other scripts to transport the player from around the levels under different circumstances, right? All of them use triggers and an empty game object, but some of them are interactable, some of them aren't interactable, some of them have icons, some of them don't. And yeah. The other thing I think was kind of interesting and fun for me to learn how to do is the actual quest system, which would you would get a quest by talking to an NPC like any other game, right? And usually was an interesting problem for me to solve because I've never done it. In UFO, all I really did was use a couple booleans or I guess bulls, same thing. But none of them were like kill X amount of enemies or find X items. So I was kind of a bit new to it. So what I decided to do is actually use a combination of custom fungus commands, have to of course, scriptable objects, and the game manager. Right? I don't really think this is the best way to do it, so don't copy me. However, if you guys have any feedback or if you have any ideas on how to do it a little better, please let me know. Right? Something I kind of threw together with a little experience that I do have. So let me kind of explain my logic, right? Quests, first off, need to be serializable, right? Player quest progress needs to be savable and persistent, i.e. scriptable objects. I made two, one for the fetch quests, one for fight quests. And I made 2 structs for each of the quest objective types, right? So items are going to be held in the inventory, again, duh. They're kind of standard game objects. Whereas enemy type is something I'll get to in a second. Of course, both classes are going to need a quest checker, duh. Again, duh. For the actual fight quests, they check the game manager and to see how many enemies you defeated of a certain type. And of course, if you killed that many type total, that would actually end up completing the quest. And for the inventory, when it does its check, it simply goes through your inventory and sees if you have an item in the inventory that matches the game object. Again, really simple logic. A lot longer than I thought it was going to be. Actually, a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be. Right? So in order to assign a quest, I just need to add a list to something that was supposed to be semi-persistent in the actual, script. So I simply added a couple custom fungus scripts to add quests to a mission list, and a custom fungus script to finalize a quest. Now, chances are all of this data probably would be better served on its own script. So definitely that's one of those things where I'm like, definitely don't do as I say. Do better. So all that stuff would definitely be served on its own script. But for the time being, I put all the information in the game manager because, of course, at the moment, that's what I'm going to do. All of that stuff's going to be tracked anyway, and the game manager is something persistent. And yeah, those are kind of the 2 things I learned the most about, I guess, doing this project. If you guys want to see my, I guess most of them were bi-weekly things. I can show those as well. But yeah, appreciate it. Alright. So yeah, thanks guys for watching my PM postmortem or whatever I decided to name this thing, because like I said before, probably shouldn't name it postmortem. Probably should try naming it something else. But anyway, thank you guys for watching the video. I really appreciate your views and your attention. Don't forget, of course, to leave me any feedback, anything I can improve on in the comments down below. And I would really appreciate a sub, a like, a share, anything really. Any kind of engagement would be nice. I really like making YouTube videos, and I really want to make it something I can do more often and have an excuse to do more often, And yeah, really kind of feel disappointed that I wasn't able to finish the project at hand, but there's always next time, right? Maybe you shouldn't give myself such hard limits, but also it's really important to make sure that you get something done in a reasonable amount of time and not spend tons of time and money and effort on things that you shouldn't be. Opportunity cost is a very real thing, and it's something you should always be aware of. And anyway, thanks again for watching. Peace.